Well, the Bucks didn't want to go home facing elimination, and we take this one to overtime. Get the ball over to Gary Trent Jr., who was having such an incredible night. Just under 11 seconds to go, loses track of the ball, goes out of bounds. Giving the Pacers another opportunity, 1-point game. Tyrese Halliburton taking this one to the rack. Indiana taking the 1-point lead with just over a second left on the clock. Here we go. We're now joined by CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. John, as I'm watching this game, I'm kind of floored at what's transpiring, especially in those final 12 seconds of that game. I can say on numerous occasions watching this, I said, this is the Bucks game, but it's also their game to lose. I mean, they went on a 13-0 run to open this game, led by as many as 20. I turned away for 2 seconds. We're tied going into the fourth quarter. Pacers able to take advantage of the Bucks' mistakes there, ending it on an 8-0 run. What did you make of? First, we'll talk about Indiana's efforts there.
Yeah, brutal loss for the Bucks. Huge win for the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton was outstanding tonight. He had 26 points, including the game-winning layup. But before that, he hit the game-tying dunk to send it to overtime in the first place. He had 9 straight points at one point between the fourth quarter and overtime. He was also good, active defensively. This was a big game for Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, in the Pacers. But don't forget, earlier in the season, or series rather, when Dame Lillard was just coming back from the blood clot before, unfortunately, he hurt his Achilles, he was sort of jawing with Tyrese Halliburton and saying, you'll see, and kind of like daring Tyrese Halliburton to show him. 2013-14, the Pacers are moving on out of the first round in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, and you said it before we went live here. You were like, this game went from awful to awesome, because it really did. It seemed like such a slow start. We're like, all right, Bucks will take this one. Let's move on. But what happened to Milwaukee there? Because they lost that big lead in the second half, and especially you see the performances that we did see from Gary Trent Jr. and Giannis. What didn't work for Milwaukee?
Yeah, I mean, not stopping Tyrese Halliburton first and foremost, right? I mean, he was fantastic again at the end of the fourth quarter and then in overtime. But if you're the Bucks, this is devastating. I mean, obviously, your season crumpled along with Dame Lillard when he had that Achilles injury in Game 4. But then all of a sudden, you look at what happened tonight. They had all 5 starters in double figures. Giannis was incredible. He had a triple-double. He went for 30, 20, and 13 assists. The Bucks starts out 0 for 7 from 3, ends up shooting 8 for 17 from deep finishes with 33 points. He had 12 points in overtime, 4 threes, and still they can't get past the Pacers. This is a real kick in the gut if you're the Bucks, because you think, okay, we're facing elimination. Our season is ruined by what happened with Dame. Our future is probably ruined by what happened with Dame. Giannis, everybody's talking about once they get into the offseason, Giannis might be shipped out elsewhere. Let's just try to win this game. And it looked like they were going to. They're up 20, and then all of a sudden, here comes Tyrese Halliburton at the end of the game and then in overtime. And they have to be right now looking around thinking, what just happened?
Yeah, absolutely. And you said something there. You talked about they're probably wondering what their future going to look like. Well, because of the Dame news, and obviously you lose a very, very big piece to your team right there. But now all eyes are on Giannis, especially as now the Bucks are entering into the postseason. Was this potentially the last time that we might see Giannis in a Bucks uniform?
Yeah, it's going to be, that's what everybody's going to be talking about for the entirety of the summer. Unless Giannis stands up, puts his hand up and says, you know what, it's more important for me to finish my career in Milwaukee than it is for me to go someplace that I have a better chance of winning sooner rather than later. I'd rather be Dirk Nowitzki and play out my career in its entirety in one spot than move on. That's all anybody's going to be talking about. And rightly so, Kiana, because the Bucks are their salary cap is tied up with Dame Lillard, who's probably not going to play next year, is going to be 35. So when he comes back, he'll be 36 coming off an Achilles, along with Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. They have no draft picks until 2031. They don't control their draft until 2031. And on top of that, Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez are free agents. They're capped out. This is a really difficult rebuild for general manager John Horst. So yeah, if you're Giannis, you're going to look around and see what everybody else sees, which is it's going to be awfully difficult for you to win in Milwaukee, and it's not going to surprise anybody if he says, you know what, it's been awesome Milwaukee, but it's time for me to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about what's being tied up, looking at Dame's numbers, and it makes you kind of have those questions, looking at what the Bucks can do to add some pieces here in the offseason. but they're kind of working with limited resources. And then on the other side of this conversation, Giannis did say he wants to win. Will the Bucks be in a position to win next year? You're without one of your stars for what looks like it's going to be the majority, if not the entirety of the season. But well, that's the Bucks situation they'll have to deal with this offseason. But as for the Pacers, they're moving on, and they will be facing the Cavaliers in the semifinals. And for what it's worth, Indiana's the only team to beat the Cavs 3 times this season. John, give me your thoughts on an early preview of what this series can look like.
Yeah, the Cavs are going to be the favorites. The Cavs have been the best team in the Eastern Conference all season long. They have the best offense in the NBA. We saw what they just did to the Heat. They absolutely dismantled the Heat at both ends of the floor. For as good as the Cavs are offensively, they're also a top 10 defense. So, yeah, this is going to be a fight. But I don't think, maybe some people, casual observers of the NBA, might see the number 1 seed next to the Cavaliers and think, okay, this is a foregone conclusion. All of a sudden, the Cavs are moving on. Well, don't forget, as I just mentioned, this is the first time since 2013-2014 that the Pacers are moving out of the first round in back-to-back seasons. Well, what happened last season? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, surprised everybody. This season, since January, Kiana, they got off to a slow start, but since January, only 3 teams in the NBA have a better record than the Pacers, and that's Oklahoma City, pretty good, those Cavaliers, and the Boston Celtics, who are the defending champions. So, look, the Pacers are a complete team. They've been playing fantastic basketball at both ends of the floor since January. I think this is going to be a really good series. I still favor the Cavs, but don't count out the Pacers.
Yeah, but also for what it's worth, if we're going to be honest and talk about that Cavs series, and this is no slight to the Heat, but
do the slight.
Aren't quite the Pacers. So, I mean, like you said, hey, they're peaking at the right time, looking at those numbers since January, so it's going to be a fun one for us to catch up on. John Gonzalez, I'll make sure we have you back. We got to discuss this series as time comes. Thanks so much for stopping by. Well, here we go. East semifinals. Well, one part of it is at least ready to go. Pacers, only team to beat the Cavs 3 times this season. No other team in the NBA was able to do this. Cavs on the other end, looking for their first East Finals appearance since 2018. If you remember, that's when LeBron was on the team. But this is a new Cavs team, and they're looking pretty good. Go.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you like the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we notice that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video, NBA